Hello, Cancers, and welcome to this, your rest of June reading. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances in my personal life, I wasn't able to post two sets of videos during the month of June. So let's dive right in and see what is coming up for you. The first cards that we're going to pull for you are going to be cards of well, that one's on the floor. Cards of where you are at now, what's going on for the Cancers right now. What's going on for Cancer right now? We are coming up into Cancer season as well. So happy birthday coming up in June. Ah, okay. The first card that jumped out and the one that actually landed on the floor is the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is the card that I like to call the Little Hermit or the Quiet Hermit. It is the card that is similar in meaning to the hermit, which is about withdrawing from society, going within, taking some time for self, and just you'll notice on this card, the character is kind of cocooned here in a little nest and they're resting, they've withdrawn, and they're just taking time for self. And so it looks like that's where you are right now. And especially with this other card that's come up as well for you, Cancer, which is the Temperance card. Temperance card represents balance. It is about taking a good hard look at our lives and seeing what's in balance, what isn't in balance, taking a look at our work, um, family life, social life. Is there a balance there? Are we putting too much time and effort and energy into work and thus neglecting family or social time? Or vice versa? Are we looking forward to summer, perhaps, and spending so much time with our head in the clouds, planning our vacation, that perhaps we are neglecting work? Whatever the case may be for you, Cancer, it is definitely in your best interest to bring balance and temperance back in. The other thing that comes to mind with the temperance card is to bring um to temper whatever you're doing in your life by taking that step back before you respond to certain things. That's what's coming up for me. Um People who have anger issues, and I'm not saying that all of the cancers have anger issues. I'm using this purely as an example because you have the Four of Swords and the Temperance card coming out together. And these two cards together, this example that I'm going to use, it'll make sense in just a moment. So people who have anger management issues who go and take certain classes in order to try and bring balance back into their life and to give them tools and techniques for better managing their emotions are often told that when they feel themselves getting riled up, they should close their eyes, take a deep breath, and count to a certain number. Oftentimes it's 10 in their mind. And this allows them to rebalance some of the hormones that are released when we get super excited or agitated about something. This is also a good technique for people that suffer from anxiety, for example, if they're going into a new situation and they find themselves breathing too deeply, almost to the point of hyperventilating, taking a step back, taking a couple of deep breaths, perhaps even closing your eyes and counting to 10 can rebalance everything. And so the fact, Cancer, that you have the Four of Swords and Temperance right next to each other, it is an indication that there is something going on in your life right now that requires you to take a step back and perhaps take a few deep breaths or practice some kind of meditation technique, practice some kind of rebalancing in your life in order to be able to gain more clarity on whatever it is, because with these two cards coming up together, it, it's just telling me that there is something that is not in balance in your life at this time. Um, and I just heard a little whisper in my mind that said, oh, well, some of them are saying, yeah, my bank balance is not in balance. Well, no, none of our bank balances are in balance at the moment with the tough financial times that the vast majority of the world is experiencing. But the cards that have come out for you, Cancer, are not indicating this is specifically a financial issue. It's more, what I'm picking up is it's more of a life lesson issue. So, some kind of life lesson that you are intended to be learning at this time. Um, there's something else coming in, coming in. Um, what's coming in is that this may be part of shadow work for you. Um, there may be certain triggers that you're experiencing at this time, and you may consciously know where those triggers are coming from, or perhaps not, and you're just getting triggered by things that people are saying or doing. And when you can take a step back from a triggering type situation, take a couple deep breaths, we can often see the bigger picture and see why it is that it triggered us. And that is shadow work. So, yeah. If you're interested in doing any kind of shadow work, for those of you who don't know, I am a certified intuitive counselor. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist. So if you are interested in diving deeper into this type of work, I'll leave all my contact details down below for you. All right, let's take a look at what you are focusing on. What else are the Cancers focusing on? We've got one card that's flipped out here for you. Is there anything else for Cancer? Anything else? Apparently, that one's on the floor as well. Anything else for Cancer? Apparently. Okay. Let me just grab this card off the floor for you. All right. So I was smiling because the first card that popped out for you, Cancer, for what you are concentrating on and focusing on for the remaining part of June is the consciousness card. And really, when we tap more deeply into our own consciousness, what we're doing is doing shadow work. We're bringing our own lives back into balance. We're taking a look at what is triggering us. We're taking that step back and taking that opportunity in that step backwards, in those deep breaths, in that quiet time to learn lessons that we might not otherwise learn because we're living in our unconscious. Okay. Um, I'm sure you guys already know this, but it's worth repeating. I'm not even sure what the numbers are, but the numbers are very high. At least 80%, maybe 85% of our lives are controlled and conditioned by our unconscious mind, by things that happen to us, learned practices, learned habits from the past. And that causes us to react in certain ways to certain situations. As we get older, oftentimes what triggers us is no longer valid, but the subconscious mind still thinks that it is. So when we can take time to step back and rebalance everything and see the bigger picture, we have an opportunity to be able to really, really grow our consciousness, grow our awareness, grow our spirituality. And this, in turn, is going to provide you with the opportunity to have much deeper connections in your personal relationships, Cancer. So, this is an important month for you to do some really deep dives into your psyche and into your consciousness and learn a little more about what is making you tick behind the scenes. The other card that you have is the Adventure card. I love that this card came out, especially at this time of the year for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, moving into the summer months, moving into the latter half of June, July, August. Go seek out some adventure, create some adventure in your life, Cancer, as you move forward through the coming weeks. Let's take a look at what's coming up in your difficult influences and challenges. Difficult influences and challenges for Cancer. All right, so far we only have one card out. Oh, and two more popped out. Oh, okay. Difficult influences and challenges. All right, so I'm going to go here first. This is the King of Pentacles. Not sure if that's coming into focus for you or not. Anyway, King of Pentacles in your difficult influences and challenges. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this, I was not seeing any cards that were indicating that what you were experiencing and going through at this time was specifically related to money. However, then you ended up with the King of Pentacles in your difficult influences. King of Pentacles, of course, is the richest king in the deck. As with all kings in tarot, he brings with him some message or advice about work or business or money. But it's in your difficult influences, Cancer. So it may be that you have decided to ignore some advice that you have received from a respectable king type figure. I'm kind of making light of it here, but what the King of Pentacles brings to us is advice, generally about money or work. And when he appears in our difficult influences, Cancer, it's an indication that you are not taking the advice seriously or you're not taking it to heart for whatever reason, depending on it's most likely that the reason that you're not taking the advice to heart is because of the source of the advice. And that comes back to the beliefs. That comes back to the unconscious ruling us in our decisions. So, definitely, I want to say, Cancer, that there's probably someone in your life right now trying to give you some much needed advice about something that's very earthly, something that's very tangible, work and career or money. And you might be trying to brush that off. So perhaps in your quiet moments, you may reconsider the advice that you were receiving. You have the Knight of Cups coming in here. Knight of Cups represents something emotional that may be just fleeting. Now, this came up in your difficult influences and challenges, which means that you might be holding on to something emotional, an emotional attachment that is preventing you from moving forward. There's an emotional attachment, something emotional in your life that was intended to be fleeting, that was just supposed to kind of come in and twinge you towards some increased self exploration. And instead, you chose to take that increased self exploration and dwell in something negative that came up about it instead of just going, okay, I'm going to take a look at that and I'm going to release it, and take a look at it and release it. And that's really what this card is asking you to do, but there's something that you've held on to instead. And the other card that you have in your difficult influences is the Empress. Now, the Empress in the tarot is about brand new ideas that are on the verge of being birthed out into the world. This is in your difficult influences, Cancer. You're actually not the first zodiac sign to receive the Empress in this placement in readings for the month of June. indicating that there's a lot of people right now who happen to have some really great ideas, but they're feeling stagnated. They're feeling blocked at getting those ideas out into the world. So just put that on the back burner. Keep in mind that you've got an idea, a good idea, something that's come out of your consciousness and all of your learning. And for whatever reason, the global energies, the universal energies are preventing people from birthing these ideas out right now. Hopefully that will shift. It may just be too, what I just got called upon to share is that um, when we birth a new idea out into the world, oftentimes it's about timing. And one of the worst times to start certain businesses or to launch certain businesses is in the month of June. Because as people are thinking about going on vacation, that makes them busier at work because they have to do so much more to prepare to go to work, to go be able to go on vacation. And then they come back from vacation and there's a bunch of extra work piled up on their desk and they've got to play catch up in addition to any new work that comes. And um, oftentimes June, July, and August. Late August is actually sometimes a good time to launch a new business or launch a new idea out into the world. But June, July, and early August are actually not particularly good times. So that may explain why the Empress keeps appearing in the challenges for quite a number of the zodiac signs this month. Um, Now, I'm not giving you formal business advice at this point in time. I'm just reading the cards. Please use your own discernment to make your own decisions about what you are working on birthing out into the world. But just know that there may be a reason why there's been a postponement on launching something at this time, Cancer. All right, messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. All right, so I've got two cards here that were standing upright. Accept struggles as lessons. Yes, that is an important message based on the direction that your reading is going, Cancer. Accept struggles as lessons. And appreciate your talents. Yeah. Appreciate yourself for what you're worth. Value your time. I don't know where that came from. Value your time. I don't know where that came from, Cancer, but definitely an important message if it just comes shooting out of my mouth as a download during one of these readings. Yeah. The other thing that's coming in for me with regards to this for you is if you don't value your own time, if you don't respect your own time, then others won't either. Just something that I thought that you needed to hear because it came in that moment. All right, where are we going for your unexpected? Back over here to the Osho Zen. Whew, it's getting warm and toasty in my RV. It's funny, I've been freezing for 4 months solid. And now today I decide to record and it's toasty in here. Okay. In your unexpected. Remember what I said with regards to this Empress being in your difficult influences and challenges? Something is being postponed. Something is being held back. You're being told to, hold something back. And guess what you have in your unexpected? You have the Patience card. Now, I want to point out that The Empress in the tarot is almost always depicted as a very pregnant female who is on the verge of giving birth to a new idea out into the world. And in the Osho Zen Tarot, the Seven of Pentacles is also depicted as a pregnant female. Cancer. What are the chances? And this card also has the meaning of patience. I also want to point out that the cycles of the moon are represented on this card. This card with the cycles of the moon going across the top is indicating that there is a cycle, a stage, or a phase for everything. And the timing just isn't right for a new idea to be birthed out into the world. And that may be not just because of the summer months coming in and summer vacations coming in, but it also may be going all the way back to you having the Temperance card and the Four of Swords here at the beginning, that there is some really important life lesson, soul lesson that you need to learn before you can successfully put this new idea out into the world. Now, you do have another card in your unexpected, and this is exciting. The Success card. This card corresponds to the Six of Wands. It's all about having a parade and the ticker tapes all raining down on you, and sunshine and rainbows and sparkles falling out of the sky, and things falling into place and coming together for you. So, what this is saying is that you are going to have success in your endeavors in this new idea that you have, but the timing is not quite right. But continue to put your efforts, your time, and energy into this project, and you will have success with it, Cancer. Final general overall outcome, we're going to go over to the fairies. Final general overall outcome for Cancer. Okay. This is fascinating to me how things kind of turn around and go here. So in your general overall outcome, Cancer, you have the Three of Autumn. This card corresponds to the Three of Pentacles. This is a card indicating that you should continue to follow your passions. That is what I just finished saying with this card. Although it may not be the right exact time right now for you to be putting your idea out into the world, follow your passion, follow your dreams into your dream career. And maybe the reason, and this it's funny because it is coming back around to this Four of Swords and to the Temperance and to what I said before these cards even came out, that perhaps the reason that the timing isn't quite right for your idea or your inspiration or your endeavor to be put out to the world is perhaps there's something that you need to learn. And the final card in your reading is the Eight of Autumn, also known as the Eight of Pentacles. This is a card of go back to school, perhaps brush up on on certain skills, maybe take some seminars or some learning classes, night school courses, whatever the case may be, however it looks in your life. This card is saying, you know what? You have a good portion of the skills that you need right now, but not all of them. And so, do your research. Education in the form of seminars or going back to school or apprenticeships is called for at this time. There's your answer as to why your endeavor is being postponed. All right. So I wish you all the luck and whew, That was a big one, Cancer. I wish you all the best on this new endeavor and good luck finding some classes or courses to brush up your skills. And we'll see you next month. Like and subscribe, please.